Wex On, Wex Off starts right now with Jason Wexler.
71 degrees in Hoboken, New Jersey. From my bedroom, it's the never duplicated, rarely imitated Wex On Wex Off, still sponsored by no one, but we're taking your calls. Joining me today, and another friend of mine, I got about three more left, it's Miss Maggie Newsham. Maggie, how you doing?
I can't complain yet.
All right, Maggie, so we're going to start with, I wanted to start with sports, and I guess this really is a sport. We're going to start with me telling you live on this podcast why I am the hot dog eating champion. If you know me, you might know that I was the 2016 Chittenden County Fair hot dog eating champion, 11 jumbo in 10 minutes. It was me, the guy to the right of me, which, well, to respect larger gentlemen, last year's champ, and three other 50-year-old gentlemen. Five of us, right? Me, the guy to my right, who I maybe should have beaten, should have not. But the problem is, he had no heart, right? He got a cold dog in the middle of the contest and he stopped and he said, you know what, I'm going to be sick. So he gave up. There I was, properly trained after having eaten 10 hot dogs for a quarter a week prior at the Vermont Lake Monsters game. And I ate 11 in 10 minutes. I dipped one in water because it was funny. And then I made $100.
Wait, so how many hot dogs was it in total?
11 jumbo in 10 minutes.
So a jumbo, like on a scale from like Oscar Mayer to
They
I don't
were
know.
like, what was the name of the brand? It was some specific like Vermont brand hot dog, because they were the sponsor.
If I said like a crunchy hot dog, would you know what I'm talking about?
Like one that's burned.
No, like when you bite into it, it's got like the casing, so like there's like a crunch.
I thought only sausages have casings.
No, I thought hot dogs can have. How else would a hot dog stay in together if not cased?
I don't. I don't know.
Well, now that actually is a question I want to ask you. Do you think competitive food eating is a sport?
Um, do you think NASCAR is a sport?
Yeah, I think it's very skillful.
I would agree. I would say the same about.
Yeah.
Um, I think it's skillful, but that doesn't make it a sport necessarily. But then we get into like what defines a sport.
Yeah.
Is cheerleading a sport? Cheerleading definitely is a sport in the case of you're competing in competitions and you're doing flips and you're practicing, but give me a D and give me some fence, that's not a sport.
Is it something that you can do?
Cheerlead?
Yeah, I don't think I could. That's cheerleading to me. I've always felt, yeah, that's always fallen in the sports category.
I mean, I think in general the whole thing is kind of strange, like as a concept. Again, unless it's like specifically doing it for a competition. If you're just doing it, and you're having young women wear short clothes and all of that, then no, it's not a sport, and it leads to the sexualizing of women for young women for no good reason.
I would definitely see like how Hollywood portrays cheerleading versus like what real cheerleading is. Because the real cheerleaders I know, I'm like, it's so far beyond that. But definitely when you watch like TV and movies, it makes it seem like it's something that's just totally not. So yeah.
Well, and also you're in high school. If you're a cheerleader, you might care about it, and you might care about the quarterback. Like the head cheerleader dating the quarterback type of vibe. But then you realize like nobody actually cares about that. Again, cheerleading is a sport when there's actual athletic competitions going on, and it's more similar to gymnastics. When it's we want the ball or whatever I don't know. It's been a while, but and no, not a sport. I think it just leads to this sexualizing of young women by having them wear provocative clothes and dance provocatively. Very hot take. You might burn your hand on that one.
No, and not even something that we touch on, because it's funny. I think of it when like the gymnastic aspect's not there, I still put on the same level as dance, where no, there's a choreography involved and there's a memorization and still like a teamwork aspect that I would say like kind of still falls into that sport like category. Because I'm like, no, I would see like the cheers, and yeah, I went to a high school where they were not like, gymnastically gifted cheerleaders, but there was still like a choreography again, and I don't know, it's a skill set that, yeah, I wouldn't necessarily have, and like a physicality that demands it. It's kind of
And
like people who are great dancers. I'm like, yeah, they might not physically look what you would imagine an athlete to be, but I can't do the things they can do, right?
I
I
think I think also, I mean, you look at athletes, they're not all built the same. There are some people that are, 6'8", 260 that are God's gift to nature that can move faster than a guy that's 5'9", and there's a 5'9" guy that could, go grab a board in the post. So to say there's like the stereotypical athlete, especially in today's NBA, is an outdated notion that I think there's, something that people should look like.
Funny you say NBA because I think that's gone away with the NBA. I think of like more with the NFL, but like NFL, it's like with this positions required, yeah. But I was just watching the preseason and like for the Celtics opener, and Kendrick Perkins was like one of the commentators, and I grew up obsessed with Kendrick Perkins. I think he's the
He's
best.
trash. He's
Good.
trash. He was a
So
2 point a game. I agree with Kevin
yeah,
Durant.
I thought no, he was. I love him. Um, but I think he was so underrated when he was with the Celtics too. I give him so much credit for like Paul Pierce and like Rajon and like KG and even Ray Allen, what they were able to do.
What about
But
Glenn Davis?
Big Baby,
Big baby. Yeah.
Big Baby, I think he would have had really great skill. He's still playing, isn't he? He's just playing overseas.
Oh, is he? That's news to me.
He
I don't
might
know.
be.
Him
I
and
know.
Dwight playing overseas.
Yeah, I want to say he might be. But Big Baby, I really think that was a personality issue. I think he was because he was a young kid. You got to keep in mind at the time.
Well, they had enough personality issues with Rajon Rondo. The big three did.
You know what you're gonna love? I cannot for the life of me pronounce Rondo's last name. I know I get the Doe part wrong.
What do you say, Rondé? Like Barber?
No, Rajon Rondo.
What is there, an accent?
Yeah, it drives my family insane. I just say Rajon now because they can't. They're like, nope, stop saying his name. I'm like, yeah, well, Rajon Rondo does this. Like, stop it.
My dad and I've always loved Rondo. Did you ever see the clip of he was playing in Sacramento with DeMarcus Cousins, and the ref calls a lane violation on DeMarcus Cousins with like 14 seconds to go in the game that they were going to lose or win? I don't remember, but he starts going nuts, understandably so. And there's a clip of Cousins and Rondo. They're both on the court at the same time. They're clapping in the ref's face, and he ejects DeMarcus Cousins. I always love Rondo's competitiveness and competitive spirit.
I have to say, but it's funny with the NBA. I feel like while playing the game, their competitiveness comes out in such a fun way. It's the only. I like defense. I'm always a big fan of defense, and so that's why the NBA. Every time I try watching it, I'm like, no, it's the other team's getting triple-digit points. Like, what defense is happening right now?
It's
Um,
not okay. So it's not that they don't play defense in the NBA. I think it's more important to be a good offensive player, but it's not that they don't guard people in the NBA. It's that the game's 48 minutes long. It's 8 minutes longer than college. That's first of all.
well, I think that, but also you just see how like the refs are calling, and it's definitely in favor of protecting offensive players and not allowing the skill set of defensive players to further develop.
We look at the whole concept of the restricted area, and
Yeah.
doesn't really make sense. I mean, if you're in the restricted area, then it's not a charge, meaning you could do whatever you want. I'm going to throw one at you to stick with. He was a very average Celtic. He was a below average Celtic, in fact. Shaquille O'Neal. My father especially always of the opinion that Shaq was always just bullying his way down low. You watch games today, still you see it, and I do it when I play on the court too. You put your behind into somebody, you back them down, you back them down, you back them down, little baby hook, and you're good to go. But it might be an offensive foul.
Yeah. No, well, it's funny you say Shaq. I will say I know I'm wrong with this opinion. I know Shaquille O'Neal is a great person. I get all that. I can't. I audibly screamed in the mall because that's where I was when I found out he was coming to the Celtics. I think he should have retired 5 years before he did. When he was on the Celtics, it was so infuriating because it was like watching someone play in slow motion. when everybody else was like 2 speeds faster. I was like, what is he doing on the court? What is he doing taking up a starter spot just to sell tickets? Like, what the fuck? Excuse my language.
No, you're good. All right, so that's gonna bring us to our NFL segue because that's perfect.
Okay.
So the NFL is considering fining San Francisco 49er tight end George Kittle for the T-shirt he wore under his uniform Sunday night that contained a profound, nope, it wasn't. Well, it was profound and profane message about the Dallas Cowboys. The shirt, Maggie, fuck Dallas. Which, first of all, abso-fucking-lutely. Second of all, this is a podcast. We're not governed by the SEC. We can say whatever the fuck we want. Love that. And thirdly, my mother always said, sometimes you just need a good fucking curse word. Who gives a fuck?
I'm like your mom.
Me too. What do you think about the NFL potentially fining George Kittle?
Well, so I get, and this is, I mean, the NFL is going to take every advantage to fine anybody for anything. I think this fine is a bit more understandable than like when they fine somebody for wearing the wrong headphones or like the wrong shoes or something dumb like that. I think you have to understand it would be kind of like if you showed up to your office and you had like, if you showed up to work at McDonald's with like a fuck Burger King t-shirt on. Like that, you're still in the office, you're like in your workspace. You're working, that's just not quite appropriate. Although it is sports and it's
So
fun.
to play devil's advocate, and I most definitely don't agree with this,
Yeah.
and you know this, but to play devil's advocate, what if you show up with a shirt wearing "I can't breathe" and therefore people say you're taking a political stance at work?
Ooh. No, I think that would be a different scenario. I don't think
Why? It's not the time or the place.
where is I mean, it if it was I can't fucking breathe, it would be a misquote, one. But two, it'd be like, I think that would be a bit more of a similar. So I guess I don't understand. I think that's like a political stance. I think it's really different. Like Kaepernick kneeling, 1,000,000%, right? Like that wasn't him being inappropriate in the workplace. That was him protesting police brutality.
Right, and it's not. It's absolutely not. I'll go on record. It is not
Yeah,
disrespectful for the troops one way or another.
yeah,
You know what's disrespectful to the troops is sending them over to fight a war if it's not absolutely 100% necessary. Disrespectful that veterans come back in this country and do not get the medical care that they need, and so many of them are homeless, and so many of them are suffering with post-traumatic stress disorder and not getting the services that they need. Who gives a fuck about kneeling for a national anthem?
yeah. No, it's and especially I don't know, veterans are fighting for the right. And I know this is like a totally different tangent than what we're trying to talk about,
This is a
but
podcast. We go wherever we want.
no, I think I would, if anything, what Kaepernick and like all those players did was it just in further justice of what veterans are fighting for, and it is for Americans' rights to peacefully. I don't even the peacefully part is not important to me, but to protest and to stand up and to be able to vocalize, and I guess like utilize any sort of platform that somebody has, and
And to
so
just be free to say whatever you want, to think whatever you want, despite either side of the aisle agreeing with it or not.
exactly.
Colin Kaepernick's, I don't know if I should say hero, but he's an icon. He'll forever be remembered, not as a quarterback that got to the Super Bowl with the 49ers, gave up his career at 20 whatever years old, and made a suicidal choice at that point, blackballing himself from the NFL. He will never play in the NFL again. He's not going to lead the Jets practice squad. Guy made a choice, and I respect it. Should he have worn a shirt that said, with the pigs and the bacon? No. Do I think most cops are pieces of shit? Yes. But he took a stand.
No, I think history is going to be on his side on that one, and I think it's already kind of going to show, right? Um, but that's where there's such a nuance like to what Kaepernick did that it's you look at what George Kittle did, and he did it for like the bit of it, and that's why I'm like those aren't comparable, right? He did it to be funny and to, out of the competitiveness and the funness of sports. I get that. And if he was a fan, it would be ridiculous for the NFL to come after him. But again, man, you're at work. That's just not a work appropriate thing to do,
Do you have a problem with him cursing after post-game interviews?
No, as somebody who curses at work, that doesn't really bother me that much.
But it's not the time or the place.
No, I mean
You just said it.
It can I don't know. Yeah. No, there could be hypocrisy in the thought process. 100% will admit to that, but no, I think I think cursing in the after in the elected, because you got to think too, especially with the NFL, that is something that's aired on TV. You can't quite control who your viewership's going to be, which is why they get fined by the FCC.
Yeah, but there's also a 7-second delay, so they could bleep it out. But also, these athletes are not fucking role models. People could be parents.
No, yeah.
Charles Barkley, very famously, said, "I'm not a role model." And he drew slack for it. But he's absolutely right. You could look up to them, but athletes should not be the people you should be expecting to raise your children. And first of all, if you have a problem with a curse word, you're a fucking loser. I had a similar situation come up where somebody took offense to somebody using an imprecation when we were talking about Israel, and we were talking about, which is not something I want to get into on this, but she said, "What in the actual fuck is wrong with people?" And somebody said, "Oh, maybe you shouldn't curse in the chat." Nah, fuck you. If you can't use a curse word, it's a word like any other word. Should you be throwing them out at work? Should you be throwing them out in front of kids? No. But if you're in front of adults, you shouldn't have a problem with another adult cursing. And if you do, that's really your fucking problem.
Well,
I've never cursed this much on a podcast. So look at that.
yeah,
Look at you, Maggie.
You got the Massachusetts kid coming on. No, but it's funny because you just said you don't curse in front of kids, but also Charles Barkley is not a role model. So I feel like also, and I think there's hypocrisy to every opinion, but you got to pick a lane then, right? Can you curse?
No, because you could be appropriate in front of children, not wanting to curse at them, but being okay if it necessarily happens. How about people that get drunk in front of their children, or show their children that it's okay to be verbally abusive to a spouse? That's much worse than a fucking curse word. Should your 7-year-old be going into school and cursing? No. Is it the nicest way to talk to people? No, but it's fucking how it goes.
I mean, if we measure it could have been way worse. Sure, it could have been way worse, right? But at the same time, I don't know. I get if of all the things for the NFL to fine over, if it's in his contract to not, have any written profanity or et cetera, then I think that's a fair fine. Yeah. And again, it was, and he did it purely out of the fun of the competitiveness. So it's,
Fair enough. All right, so from that week to this week, Travis Kelce status in doubt for Thursday night's game against the Broncos. They're listing him as questionable to play on their final injury report of the week released. Kelce, a limited practice participant Tuesday in the Chiefs' only practice of the week. So Maggie, we'll start this story from the top. What's your favorite Taylor Swift song?
I think Story of Us is completely slept on. I think that's a great song. It's from I want to say Speak Now.
Are you a Swiftie?
I'm not really. I don't hate Taylor Swift. I don't adore Taylor Swift. It is very, it's it is what it is.
Did you go?
Yeah. Did I what?
Did you go to the Eras tour?
No, I'm not paying. I don't. This is a hot take. I don't like live music. It's too loud. I like listening to music at a volume that I like listening to. Jason, just if we're ever at a bar together and someone comes out with an acoustic guitar, just know I immediately want to leave. That has nothing to say about the talent of the person about the play. I am just so uncomfortable. Like, what do you watch them? Do you just shout over them? No, I don't like live music. I don't. I
You
don't
don't
go to.
like live music in general, or you don't like live music at a bar?
I think in general, yeah. I'll go to concerts every now and again. I went to an outdoor concert. I really liked that. It was like a perfect volume. But indoors, I'm like my ears will start ringing like 15 minutes in.
I agree. I was having that conversation with a friend the other day, and I'm someone that honestly, over the past 2.5 years or whatever, has gone to more concerts than I ever went to in my entire life. Because I have one friend in particular that's very good about getting me to do stuff. We actually saw the Red Hot Chili Peppers twice. I saw them um, twice in 2 years, I should say, but I saw them again a couple of weeks ago at Hershey Park's venue, which, by the way, is the worst to get out of. They only have one exit, and it's horrible. Have you ever taken in a concert at Hershey Park?
No.
It's a good venue. It's horrible to get out of.
No, fair. It's, I'm lucky because it's growing up in like Massachusetts, the Garden, or like is where you would see a lot of our concerts. My first concert was at TD Garden to see Linkin Park. It's like,
Oh, did they play? What's the first album? The one that they're probably one of the only ones that Hybrid Theory.
oh yeah, no, they play. Yeah, it was right after Minutes to Midnight came out, so they were still playing like Hybrid Theory and God, what is the first, like the other one, like Matoria or something?
Matoria. Yeah.
Yeah, they played. In the end, was the last song they played. I was like, wow, this is perfect because it's the end of the concert. Um, but no, after that, like that was beautiful. But it's just an age thing. I have to like plug one ear to like.
It's too loud. Concerts are too loud.
It's too loud.
Music at bars are also a little too loud. Can't it
Yeah.
be a little bit lower so I could try to have a conversation with somebody and use my verbal skills that I have and not have to use as much of the dancing skills that I don't? Maggie, we're gonna move real quick because we're running out of time on this Zoom call. To Mac Jones, you're telling me it's not his fault that the Patriots suck.
No, all right. This is my big belief with football altogether. It is a team sport. And like we can make this a whole other thing. I can go on my Tom Brady rant and at another day. I don't want to take up the time. But I don't understand how our defense is failing so poorly and everyone's blaming the offense. Right? Like I just can't comprehend the math. Yes, the defense like the offense keeps giving like the other team's offense more time on the field. I get that logic, but at the same time, there's some games and some plays I'm just like our defense has the best seats on the entire stadium. They're just watching them. And we have no offensive line right now. I don't understand how Mac Jones is supposed to be doing anything if he's getting sacked the way he did. Last weekend, he got sacked twice by the same two players in the same drive. Like how and that's Mac Jones's fault? Like
And that's not Bill's fault. You don't bring over a tight end
no.
or a fullback or a double team or a pull or a something.
Well, that's where I'm so curious with the narrative because I feel like everyone's blaming Mac Jones. And last year, I thought Mac Jones performed. I think he's performing well. I think he's doing exactly what the Patriots need. The Patriots are a very defense focused team, and we still have Matthew Slater, but with McCourty leaving, we just don't have that strong of leadership and expertise in our defense right now. Like that's it to me. Our defense is the bigger issue. But everyone was so excited to blame Matt Patricia. Matt Patricia left. Bill O'Brien came in. Bill's going to fix this. Bill's going to fix this. And I'm just not seeing those results. I'm seeing no chemistry with our offense. And we have a very green offense right now. So if we need to be giving them more time, let's give them more time. But I think asking for a new QB is not addressing what the real issues are. And I think our bigger issue right now is our defense because I think our offense can.
It could be no. It could be the bigger issue, but is he the guy you want to be your quarterback next year for the rest of this year?
Yeah, I think he knows the Patriot way. I'm not wildly impressed with Zappy. I think if he went to go be like starting QB on another team, I'd get that. But I would rather Mac Jones over Zappy, and I can't think of anyone else. Like we've done the flashy quarterbacks before. We built Tom Brady. Tom Brady was not, number one draft pick. He's famously the 199th draft pick,
Was it him or Bill? Because he won a Super Bowl without him.
I'm sorry, Bill Belichick has 8 Super Bowl rings. Tom Brady has 7.
What are the 2 as an assistant?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry. I give Josh McDaniels has Super Bowl rings. I give Josh McDaniels that. Like, you can't not give Bill Belichick like those that credit too.
No,
Like,
it's definitely both of them.
So you tell me then, if we're counting rings, which is higher number, 7 or 8?
8.
So there we go. It's Bill.
Who was he an assistant with when he got those 2?
This is where I'm gonna look like an asshole. I think it was the Giants. Yeah.
Fair enough. I don't know. That's before our time. Maybe. I don't know. So this was your first podcast, Maggie. I had Grant on yesterday. It was his first podcast. Might give you the edge.
Really?
Maybe.
Oh my gosh. I'm
Maybe.
so
I think
flattered.
I should have the 2 of you debate each other, like first take.
Yeah, I didn't know Grant was a New England fan. I don't know why I thought he was New York.
He lives in New Hampshire.
Oh, so he's JV Massachusetts. Got it.
We're gonna end on that. What? JV Massachusetts. What an insult. All right, this has been another exciting edition of Wex on, Wex off. Our thanks to Maggie Newsham and to our editor, Jake Siegel. We'll be back whenever I feel like it, and that's really how it goes. This is Wex on, Wex off.